This presentation explains what kind of subject choices you can make for the years S6 to S7 in the European school system. The subjects are divided into 5 different categories, which are shown in the columns. In column 1, you will find the compulsory subjects that every student must study. These include Language 1, Language 2, Mathematics, either 3 or 5 periods, Physical Education, and Life and Society. In column 2, you can find the so-called 2-period subjects, which you must take if you do not select them as 4-period subjects from column 3. These subjects include Science, Technology, and Society, or as we say, STS, Geography, History, and the new subject, Philosophy. STS and Philosophy will be taught in your L1, while Geography and History will be taught in L2, as they were in S4 and S5. You can replace STS with Biology, Chemistry, or Physics from column 3, although you may still choose to study STS alongside these subjects. You are not required to study 2-period History, Geography, or Philosophy if you choose one of these subjects from column 3 as a 4-period course. Otherwise, they are compulsory subjects. Column 3 is the most important column. The subjects in this column begin to shape the academic path you will take. This is not only because you will gain deeper knowledge in these subjects, but also because you will take 2 of them as written exams in your final assessments. You may choose more than 2 subjects from this column, which can be a smart strategy in case you anticipate difficulties with one of your chosen subjects. For example, if you decide to take chemistry and biology, it might be wise to select an additional subject as a backup. Chemistry and biology are often considered challenging because the content becomes more advanced compared to S5. By choosing an extra subject, you will have the flexibility in S7 to select only 2 for the final exams, allowing the additional subject to carry less weight in your final grade. I'll explain this in more detail later. In column 4, you can find 3-period advanced subjects. You may choose one of these if you wish, although they are not compulsory. Advanced language courses primarily focus on literature, so if you enjoy reading, these courses could be a good fit for you. Advanced mathematics is intended for those who wish to pursue studies in areas such as theoretical mathematics, theoretical physics, or computer science. For engineering, the 5-period mathematics course should be sufficient. You must have chosen at least 29 periods from columns 1 through 4. In column 5, you can see complementary subjects. There is no final exam in these subjects. You might choose some of them if you want a broader or deeper understanding of your 4-period subjects. For example, if you have taken science courses, you could add a lab course from this selection. Or if you are studying one of the social sciences, sociology or political science could provide additional perspective. You can also start a new language by choosing L5. At our school, we offer Spanish, Italian, and Portuguese. Please note that drama, theater, and additional sports activities will be held outside of regular school hours, starting after 4 p.m. So if you choose these subjects, you will need to dedicate some of your free time. You must choose a minimum of 31 periods and a maximum of 35 periods. In exceptional cases, you may select up to 36 periods, but you will need to request approval from the class council. For the final exams, you are required to take 5 written exams and 3 oral exams. The written exams take place at the beginning of June, and you will complete L1 at the advanced level if you have chosen an advanced course, L2, also advanced if chosen, mathematics, and 2 of your 4-period courses. You may also take an additional written exam, but only if required by the university. This is usually the case if you wish to study medicine in certain countries, where universities might require written exams in biology, chemistry, and physics. Oral exams are typically held at the end of June or the beginning of July. The first oral exam is in L1, again advanced if you have chosen the advanced course. The second oral exam is based on your studies in L2, which can include L2 itself, history, or geography. 2-period history and geography courses are also options. The third oral exam will be in a subject that you did not select for your written exams. This could include Philosophy 2 or STS, which is often the case. If you have chosen advanced mathematics, it must be taken as the third oral exam. Please remember, subjects chosen as your 4th or 5th written exam cannot be chosen as an oral exam. L1 and L2 are the only subjects that can be taken as both written and oral exams. You will select your final exam options at the beginning of S7 with a deadline of October 15th. After this date, no changes are allowed. Believe me, it really is not possible. The final mark in the European Baccalaureate is based on a weighted average of your S7 marks. 20% of your final grade will be based on the A marks you receive in each subject, just as you have received so far. You will also receive a B mark. In L1, L2, L1, Advanced, L2 Advanced, and all 4-period subjects. You will take a long written examination, known as the pre-bac, at the end of the first semester of S7 in early February. The score from this exam will serve as your S7B mark in these subjects. In other subjects, you will complete 1 or 2 short written exams or other summative assessments each semester. The average score of all the B marks will count for 30% of your final mark. As you can see, 50% of your final mark is determined by the grades you receive from your teachers before the final exams. The 5 written exams held at the beginning of June will contribute 35% to your final mark. So each exam counts for 7% of your final grade. While these exams carry the most weight individually, they are not the sole determinant of your final result. The oral exams make up 15% of your final mark, with each exam counting for 5%. This means that 50% of your final mark is based on your school performance throughout the year, and the remaining 50% is based on your final exams. To graduate, you must achieve an average of at least 50.00. An average of 49.99 is not sufficient. Fortunately, this weighted average system allows you to fail a subject or even multiple subjects and still graduate, as you can compensate with higher marks in other subjects. Here you see a visualization illustrating how the final mark is calculated. The preliminary mark, which includes both the A and B marks, is weighted accordingly. For instance, if you have 12 subjects, the weight of each preliminary mark is approximately 4%. This is worth considering when choosing your 4-period subjects, as this will be their weight if they are not taken as written or oral exams. The visualization also shows that if you take L1 as both a written and an oral exam, its total weight in your final mark will be around 16%. Here is a web tool to help you explore your subject choices. This tool will indicate whether your selections align with the regulations, show the options available for your final exams, and allow you to calculate your predicted final mark. Always use this tool to review your choices before submitting them, and remember to confirm that your selections meet the requirements for the final exams. You will make your subject choices using an online form. For final confirmation, you and your legal guardian will need to sign a paper form that summarizes your selections. After submitting the online form, students will receive a paper confirmation form, which must be signed by their legal guardian. Students may need to make second choices in the following cases: if there are fewer than 5 students enrolled in a course, if there are scheduling conflicts in the timetable, requests for changes can be submitted via a form on the school's website in September. However, approval is not guaranteed as the timetable have been already made. It's worth noting here that in S6, your marks will be calculated in the same way as in S5. Although S6 grades do not affect your final baccalaureate grade, universities often request them as part of your application process. As mentioned before, written exams typically take place during the first 2 weeks of June. Exam lengths vary: L1, L1 Advanced, L2 Advanced. Philosophy 4 and mathematics exams are 4 hours long. The art exam is a 5-hour session held on a Saturday, following a 4-hour preparation period completed during regular art lessons. All other final exams last 3 hours. Pre-bac exams have the same length as final exams. Exams will be graded by both your teacher and a second external examiner. The final mark will be the average of these 2 grades. If the difference between the 2 grades is more than 2 marks, a third examiner will review the exam and determine the final grade. Oral exams are held at the end of June or the beginning of July. There are no regular lessons between the written and oral exams. However, teachers may invite you for mock orals. During the oral exams, both your teacher and an external examiner will be present. Each oral exam includes 20 minutes of preparation in a designated room, followed by a 20-minute examination. You will complete a total of 3 oral exams, and it is possible to have 2 exams scheduled on the same day, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. The final grade for each oral exam will be the average of the 2 examiners' grades. If the 4-period optional courses in history or geography cannot be offered in the student's working language, they may take the course in another working language. provided that this language is not the student's mother tongue and that a group is available. Options that began in the fourth year, Latin, Economics, and Language 4, can only continue if a sufficient number of students choose these options. If an option course typically taught in the mother tongue, such as Biology 4, Chemistry 4, Physics 4, or Philosophy 4, cannot be offered in a particular language section, it will be provided, if possible, in one of the working languages. In this case, students are permitted to use a dictionary during exams. You may request a language change or to start a new subject. If so, indicate this on the online choice form. A level test will be organized in June, and the class council will provide its opinion at the end of the school year. As mentioned before, you may request changes until the end of September. However, requests should not be made based on reasons such as disliking the teacher, having afternoon activities, wanting to be in the same course as a friend, or dissatisfaction with your timetable. Be prepared to be in school between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m., and in some cases, even later. Also, avoid scheduling your free time activities based on the first version of your timetable, as adjustments may still be made during the first few weeks of the school year. Valid reasons for requesting a change include reevaluating your career path after consulting with your parents, guidance counselor, and subject teachers. Additionally, if you have chosen 35 or 36 periods and find the workload too demanding, you may request to drop a subject. In S6, you cannot request changes after September. The next opportunity to review your choices will be at the end of S6 before the class council meeting. At that time, you may request to drop a subject or to upgrade or downgrade your mathematics or 2-period and 4-period subjects. However, your subject selection must still comply with the required number of periods and the regulations for the final exams. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact the cycle coordinator, the orientation team, or your teachers. Also, check the booklet on the school's website, where you can find more details about the system and the courses.